prevention and intervention specialist or whatever the fuck he do. Who cares? Okay. Point being, he worked with kids. He worked with kids when he was living here in Nebraska, when he was doing what he was doing to me as a football coach and a counselor at Boys Town. Okay. Once I found out that information, my TikTok followers were like, this is what you do already anyways. Like, what are you going to do? Okay, so I decided to share my story with his name and his picture. That story ended up going super viral, okay? So viral to the point where he got removed from his job, okay? Now, me personally, I don't have any power in Conyers, Georgia. I don't work for the school board. I didn't talk to whoever his boss is directly. I did not have any interaction with the people, or his job or him being fired had nothing to do with me. I want to be clear. I've never called this man's phone, never emailed him, never messaged him on any social media platform. Him or his wife never contacted either one of them. Okay? But because me telling my story had such a negative impact on him, which, let's be clear, the impact is based off of his actions. Okay? But because he was terminated, their response to that was to get a restraining order against me, him and her. They filed separate restraining orders. Having a restraining order on your record is just like having like a charge. Anytime somebody does a background check, that shows up. Clearly, that's what they're trying to do is they're trying to manipulate the justice system to intimidate me and to try to get me to be quiet about telling my story on social media. Okay? What he's experiencing is karma and the power of social media. What I do is no different than what any news station does, what any journalist does, TMZ, and it's lots of huge content creators that do the same kind of content that I do. Unfortunately for him, this is just my personal story. Okay? So fast forward, we end up going to court. Of course, I appealed the restraining orders. We go to court. This man and his wife talk about nothing for 3 hours, okay? Then my attorney, who is my maternal aunt, okay? This man went from, on social media when I first came out with this shit, it was, he don't know me, never met me, don't even know who I am. It went from that to when I was like, well, I sang at your wedding. How the fuck? Then it was, well, you did sing at my wedding, but that's when I met you. I wasn't even around you before then. Even said in court when my attorney was questioning him that he never even been to my grandmother's house on Jane Street. And then he was like, oh, well, I was there before we got married, but after we got married, I never was there. Well, that's where I lived. But he's saying that he only met me at his wedding. This man ain't got the truth in him, okay? During the hearing, just to fast forward so I can kind of fast forward and let y'all know what's going on with me now. During the hearing, my SAer, the person who sexually assaulted me, Rodney Bradley in Conyers, Georgia, he revealed that my aunt, also, who was my attorney, sang at his wedding too. When the judge heard that, we took a recess. The judge decided that was a conflict of interest. Okay? No wrongdoing was done, but I could no longer have her as my attorney. He continued it until April 16th. Okay? And he gave me time to find another attorney. These folks got on the plane and came all the way from Conyers, Georgia to Nebraska. They got the restraining orders for Nebraska, not for Georgia where they live. This is how you know this is some vindictive shit. God is on my side though, so I'm not worried about these two hicks. But that's okay, okay? They got on the plane, probably flew Spirit, came all the way to Nebraska. What he did is, I won't say he re-traumatized me because I promise you I can body rock this man. Easy. But I have not seen him since I was a little girl. So seeing him, The judge allowed him to question me. He was very aggressive. I really wanted to get up and slap the fuck out of his dumb ass. But of course you can't do that in court. But the fact that the person who sexually assaulted me as a child was literally penetrating me at 12, took my virginity before I even started my period, to come in the courtroom, re-traumatize me, question me aggressively, and then has a wife who is supporting him, a wife that's a retired police officer. From what I hear, allegedly. I don't know that. I don't know nothing about this woman, but what she look like. That's all I know. Lord help her. And that she's supporting a pedophile. The only support that he has. I have endless emails and messages from mothers and children at the school. Fox 5 News in Atlanta. Conyers County Sheriff's Department. Close relatives and family members of his. Even one of his own children. I have so much shit, okay? They came into court with a stack of papers this big of screenshots from my social media. Keep in mind, neither one of these people are my friends on social media. They don't follow me. What triggered me to make this video is I was going live on TikTok. And I had been talking for a whole hour. As soon as somebody asked me about this case, I got to talking about it. Somebody reported it. And every time they report it, I appeal it and I always get my way. But it's just like they're literally stalking my social media. Ironically, trying to get a restraining order placed against me. When I'm clearly protected by my First Amendment rights, never have contacted these people ever. Not even via social media. Not through phone, mail, email, nothing. Nothing. They're fucking disturbed because he lost his employment. Now, all I did was do what I do on TikTok. If he got fired or terminated, he needs to take that up with whoever fired his ass, because it wasn't me. I'm not your boss. Nor did I have any conversations with your boss or anybody that works there. There's no proof or evidence of that because that never happened. It's the power of social media. That's what it is. God is good. So glad he's not by the kids. This was God's work. I didn't have to make one fucking phone call in order for that to happen. But now what is happening is the fact that he came all the way to Nebraska, came in court. Like I don't got people in Omaha that don't play the fuck about me, and I'm going to leave it at that. Okay? Lucky for him, he don't live here, or this shit would go way different. And I said what the fuck I said. Way different. If he lived here, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Real shit. Now, let me get it. Let me be clear. Okay? When I say I'm in fear for my life, this is what I mean. No matter how tough you think you are, no matter if you are carrying, concealing, no matter, how, good you could fight or whatever the case may be, people are crazy in this world. This man's whole livelihood has been taken away from him. And in his eyes, that's my fault. He's not taking any accountability for raping me as a child. In his mind, this is all my fault. And in his wife's mind, in order to believe me, she would have to believe that she made a horrible decision in choosing her husband. But she should have known that when she started fucking with him, he was married. He was cheating with her. So she should know his character. That doesn't automatically make you a pedophile. But based off of everything I've said in the facts, based off the fact that I'm not the first or the best, based off the fact that there's been so many complaints about him, that's why they fired his ass. You think a school is going to fire somebody based off of one TikTok? Really? You really think a school is going to fire somebody based off of one person's TikTok that is technically hearsay? Because at the time that he did this to me when I was a child, the adults around me never filed a police report. He never was charged with anything, never did any time. So what I'm saying on TikTok is just what I'm saying. I know it's true. He knows it's true. And God knows it's true. But the school board, they don't have no proof or evidence of what I'm saying is true. Clearly, he did something else to get fired. Legally, they cannot just fire him based off of what I said. But in his mind, because I got the ball rolling, because his ass is terminated, eliminated, he needs somebody to blame. So his response to that is to run to the justice system and try to use the justice system to manipulate and intimidate me, trying to stop me from talking about my personal situation on social media when I am 100% protected by my First Amendment rights and have never stalked or harassed neither one of them. Have I talked about them on social media? Absolutely, I have. Absolutely, I have. Just like journalists talk about Donald Trump, just like people give reports about different celebrities and this and that. Are you kidding me? I can talk. Harassment and stalking, there's legal definitions for that. And that's what they're doing to me. That's why I say she's a retired police officer. That is the reason why when Conyers Sheriff Department reached out to me and asked me to call them, said they wanted to talk to me, I still got their message. I never responded because she is a retired police officer, and so many people in Conyers, Georgia told me that she and others are protecting him and his boss. They say his boss is just like him. I don't know if none of that shit is true because I don't live in Conyers, but because I have an outpouring of communication from Conyers, Georgia. When I say outpouring, I mean an overwhelming outpouring. Overwhelming outpouring. Hundreds of messages. Disturbing to say the least. All of that will be presented as evidence in court. This video that I'm making right now and all of my videos will be presented as evidence in court so the judge can know this is literally what I do for a living. I talk about other people's situations and cases that are already brought up, but my TikTok followers wanted to know personally who did this to me. And it was him. Clearly, this is God's work. So I say all that to say this. At this point, I feel fear for my life because this man was willing to get on a plane, come here, speak to me aggressively, and the judge allowed it. To speak to me aggressively in court and question me, not about me harassing him or stalking him, but about how old I was when I was going to McMillan Junior High, Northwest High School. He wanted so much to focus on the fact that if he was fucking me, I was 14 at the minimum. I wasn't 9, 10, 11, 12. That's what he wanted the court to focus on. But you bringing me to court saying I'm stalking and harassing you, but you trying to focus on the fact that I wasn't 9 or 10 or 11 when you were fucking me. That was his focus, and the judge allowed it. Even asking me, why wasn't there a police report when this happened to you, if you say it happened to you? What do you mean? I was a child. I was a child. The judge was extremely biased towards me. Extremely. Allow them to pull up their laptop and to play videos from my TikTok that had nothing to do with stalking or harassing. She couldn't pull up one fucking video that showed that I was stalking or harassing. Every time she started playing the video, I start giving game about pedophiles, how they groom, how they this. She'll stop the video after 30 seconds because I start dropping that wisdom. She couldn't find one video. She's trying her best to help support her husband that she's in denial about. He is a monster. A monster. The fact that he is willing to get on the plane to come here for a hearing that should have only lasted half an hour to 45 minutes. That was 4 hours. And then we got to do it all over again on April 16th. He wanted to come here and show his face and try to intimidate me, but he got the right bitch. He got the right motherfucking one. He got the right one. I'm going to allow the justice system to do what it does. I have the faith of Job in the strength of David. I'm a woman of God first and foremost. Okay? I've been through a lot. And everything that I've been through in my life, God has prepared me for this. He has prepared me for this. It's very overwhelming. I have strong anxiety attacks now, especially since I've seen him in person. I made huge progress today in some steps that I took to do what I need to do legally, having to do with them. I won't say they'll find out before court. I'm doing everything that I have to do in order to protect myself. But I say all that to say this. I made this video because I want people to know, do not be afraid to speak your truth. This is a reason why a lot of women do not speak their truth, because of shit like this. Now I'm being stalked and harassed. I'm being stalked and harassed. My social media is by this man and his wife. If I had to guess, most of this is his wife. This woman has become obsessed with me, with my social media. I'm telling y'all should have seen the stack of screenshots that this woman had of just pictures. Screenshots of my YouTube, of my TikTok. I got the same shit on all of my platforms. Like, it was very awkward and strange. And none of it could show that I was stalking or harassing. It's just screenshots of my social media. The judge asked me, is this yours? Is this yours? Yep. I don't deny none of it. All of it's mine. What are we talking about? This is my social media. This is what I do for a living. This is what I do. It's going to be extremely, now that we've been to court once and I see how the flow of things go, I see how off focus the first hearing was, because he allowed them to take control and all they could do was focus on the shit that I was saying about him, but they weren't talking about none of the lies that they wrote in their report. She wrote that I put all of her business's information out there. My followers are stalking her. I don't have nothing to do with the fuck when nobody else does. If anybody's inboxing you, emailing you, that has nothing to do with me. I ain't asked nobody to do shit. I cannot and will not be responsible for what anybody else does. Like I said, there's crazy people in this world. People are passionate about this subject, especially moms and children that live in Conyers. So many people reach out to me. I can imagine how many people they know that have reached out to them. People reaching out to me, telling me she's talking about me on her Facebook story. Ain't never, ever been to this woman's social media. Never. Not one time. Don't got not one screenshot. Only shit that I have is shit that people have sent me. A lie detector test that this man took, and she blacked out all the questions, blacked out everything, and then posted it. And said, done. They got both of them, and that's another reason why I feel a little fear, because both of them, they special up here. Just listening to him talk is disturbing. This nigga literally sound like Blank Man. And her, she's in support. Anybody who's in support of a pedophile is more dangerous than the pedophile. That's her. Now both of them are harassing and stalking my social media. I just went live on TikTok. We talking about live. Live. I was on there for over an hour. As soon as I get to talking about this story and them, boom, my shit gets. But when your live get reported, it take like 24 hours for them to give you your status back, which is fine. You know what I mean? But the fact that it doesn't matter that they're watching me or not, because I'm going to say what the fuck I want to say. They can't stop me from saying nothing. I'm protected by my First Amendment rights, and I do not contact them at all. They're over here stalking my shit. They're doing exactly what they want the judge to think I'm doing. That's what they're doing. When people get in desperate situations, they do desperate things. I watched ID. I watched Discovery. I watched Dateline. And at this point, I honestly feel like my life is in danger. Fucking with this man and his retired police officer wife. They're literally stalking and harassing my social media. I do not feel safe. They already flew Spirit here to go to a court hearing for a harassment order, knowing good and well that I'm not harassing them. I'm just speaking my truth and my story and keeping people updated with what has been going on. I'm protected by my First Amendment rights. Nothing about what I do is stalking or harassment. Nothing. But a pedophile, a rapist, a murderer, they will try to manipulate the system. They will even go as far as to be their own attorney so they can get up there and terrorize the person that they victimize, because they know that if they're their attorney, they get a chance to question their accuser. It's a form of intimidation. It's a form of manipulation. And shame on the justice system for allowing people who has victimized children and women and families to get up there and re-terrorize and re-victimize somebody that has already been traumatized by the shit they have put them through. That is literally what I'm living right now. That's what I'm living right now. I'm willing to endure it and deal with it because there's so many people that's looking up to me, that's watching, that feel empowered by me telling my story. This is why a lot of women do not come out, because they have to deal with the bullying, with the harassment, with people not believing them, with the possibility of the person that traumatized them getting pulled into court like I am. Nobody wants to go through this. I'm willing to go through the storm, though, because I know this is God's plan and this is his karmic season. The wife is allowing herself to be collateral damage because she wants to stand by the pedophile. But at this point, the stalking and harassment is scary. It's scary. The fact that I know that this motherfucker was just in Omaha, Nebraska, and I just seen him at court means he could come here at any time. He doesn't know my address to my apartment, but he knows the address. They have my address to where my family lives. I wouldn't advise nobody to go over there because that house is protected by big ass pew-pews. And a motherfucker who not scared to use them. I wouldn't advise nobody to go over there. But I'm just saying, the fact that he knows where my family lives, the fact that he was willing to get on a plane and come here and then was so aggressive in court and so cocky and arrogant, even though I was giving him the energy of, I will beat your motherfucking ass because I will, he still came in that courtroom like arrogant, cocky. No shame, no guilt, no accountability. It was, Judge, I want you to know that she was, how old was you when you was at McMillan Junior High? Well, let's start with the fact that the school has junior high on the end of it. So I wasn't no more than 13. Let's be clear. Because I know I did not meet her till she was 14. That's how he sound. So there's some screws missing up here. This man is not mentally stable. Something is wrong with him. My life is not okay. I really sincerely feel like, I could literally be in danger. And the fact that his wife is a retired police officer. And because I have so many messages and emails stating how corrupt Rockdale County is in Conyers, Georgia, the whole school system. Rodney, his boss, other coaches, a band teacher got fired 2 years ago for sodomy with a student. This kind of shit is not rare there, but it took me from Nebraska to tell my story because I have a strong following on social media to get the ball rolling. It became a domino effect, and somehow this man ended up getting terminated. In his mind, that's my fault. And it's his fault. His actions got him fired. He did more than whatever I said on my TikTok, because what I said on my TikTok is some shit he did in the 90s when I was a kid. It wasn't recent. So the fact that he was terminated in court, he said he got fired from 2 jobs. I didn't even know you had another job. How the fuck is that my fault? I don't even know where else you work besides Rockdale County High School. The fact that This man is using the justice system to try to manipulate and intimidate me and to try to fuck with my life and ruin my life like he already did. I've already been through so much therapy, so much anxiety. Even my whole family was split apart because of what he did. He was married to my cousin. That's how he had access to me. I babysat their first 2 kids before they end up moving. Like, this man has spent so much time with me, around me, has raped me so many times, I can't even remember. Took my virginity before I started my period. Was treating me like I was his little girlfriend. The first time he penetrated me, I was 12. And it did not stop till I was 15. And that's really what he wanted the court to know. Because I said he started at 9. He didn't start raping me at 9. That's when the little touches and flirtation, all that little bullshit started. 12 though, definitely penetrated me at 12. And I always say 9. If I'm being honest, I may be off some months or a year, but he courted my cousin for a few years before they had a baby and before they got married. He was around my family that whole time. And being around my family, he was around me. I lived with my grandma. My cousin, who he was married to, was her favorite granddaughter. And they was there every day, all the time. That man taught me how to drive and some more shit. I said all of that in court. He didn't deny any of it. He didn't deny any of it. Didn't deny none of it. All he was trying to focus on was the fact that I wasn't 9. Now, him and his wife are completely harassing and stalking my social media. Every time I post a video, it gets reported. Every time I go live, it gets reported. Why are you on my life? Why are you on my life? If I'm stalking and harassing you, why are you watching my social media? You wouldn't even know what the fuck I'm talking about if you wasn't here. This woman be on my YouTube, on my TikTok, on my Facebook, on my Instagram, obsessed with me. This is why I feel like I am not safe. And this woman is a retired police officer, and her husband is a pedophile, a rapist of children. Me being one of them. Hell yeah, I'm going to make this video because if anything happened to me, the whole world needs to know who it was and why it happened. It's crazy people in this world. This man's whole livelihood has been taken away from him, and he's not taking any kind of accountability. I made a TikTok or 2, and that shit went viral. And as a result, I don't know exactly why he got fired, but it can't be because of my TikTok. It can't be. It can't be. He did something else. And according to what I've been told, he's already been reported so many times because this went so viral, they could no longer ignore it. This shit didn't start with me. And I know I wasn't the first victim and not the last. Not the fucking last. Not the last. So I'll say all that to say this. If you have a story like mine, be careful. You know, I know I make a lot of people feel empowered to share their story. Be careful. Because now I have my abuser stalking me, willing to fly Spirit all the way to Nebraska to come to a hearing for a protection order against me, and he raped me as a kid. And this motherfucker went to go file a protection order against me and came all the way to Nebraska just so he can come in court and attempt to intimidate me and manipulate me. And brought his ugly ass wife with him. So she can show the courts that she's standing by her man. When the whole world can see that she's being manipulated too. She looked dumb. I am not scared of either one of them. However, I'm not a stupid woman at all. I have every reason to be fearful, because when people are put in these type of situations, you never know what they're willing to do. The fact that it was so easy for him to get on the plane and come here for a court hearing that he could have easily participated in via Zoom lets me know he wanted to come here. He wanted me to see him. He wanted to traumatize me. He wanted to try to intimidate me. Him and his wife. And they're trying to manipulate the justice system. Because this man was terminated based off of his actions. Based off of his actions. Not my words. His actions got him fired. Not my words. The fact that they give me that much power lets me know how fucking stupid they are. But I have to make this video to let it be known. Because, like I said, no matter how tough you are,